I know you're fairly early in your journey, just landed the platform this year in 2023. What lessons have you learned so far?
Well, as I was saying earlier, the biggest hurdle for us is cultural, finding the right people, teaching them. What we are doing, is kind of, I think as I mentioned, doing like little proofs of concept. Proofs of concept, yes. So finding the folks, getting them something quickly, maybe not a final state, maybe not a production, but here it is, like look at it, use it, tell us, and a little bit more agilely, right? Tell us what you think of the dashboard, of the data, of the metrics that we've kind of decided. That's another thing. You go to, you've been doing the same thing for 20, 30 years. That was one of the toughest things when I first started 3 years ago. I went to our chief lending officer. I was like, what data, what dashboards do you want to see? What data? I don't know. I was like, well, I was coming from healthcare at the time. I wasn't a subject matter expert. I was like, well, I'd love to build you a dashboard of KPIs that you can look and you understand how your department's doing. Like, what do you look at from a day-to-day basis? I don't know. He ran a fantastic, a lean, mean lending machine, but it was already so rote and so driven, just do the same thing day in, day out, and make those numbers and get those loans, that there was really no thought about like what else do I want to look at. So again, when folks have never really used data, when they've never worked with data, the cultural change is difficult. Just getting the questions out of them. Like, what do you want to see? What's important to you? And everything's a little easier when it's tangible. So, okay, here's a dashboard. What do you think of it? Oh, well, that's cool, but what if I had this, and what if I had that? And oh, I'd love to see turn times on these applications. So I'd love to know how quickly they get funded, or how quickly they're approved, and then once they're approved, how quickly they book and are funded. Originally we found some really weird things going on with our HELOCs, where they were being approved relatively quickly and then sitting around for a while waiting to be funded. And how can we now affect that? How can we improve that time to funding? And we'd see a lot of withdrawn applications in that time. So these are things that you can affect. And like, oh, who are the loan officers? Maybe specific loan officers that are problems. Maybe it's the process itself that's a problem. But getting that data in front of them, allowing them to play around with it, making it tangible, and then they'll start asking the right questions, and that's when the engine starts going.